The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is the main event.
Paramount and the TKO Group reach a deal for all UFC events in the United States. ESPN and CNBC report Paramount will become the new U.S. home for all UFC events in 2026, a move that ends the UFC's existing pay-per-view model. The 7-year, $7.7 billion deal with TKO Group will see all 13 numbered events and 30 fight nights streamed on Paramount Plus, with select numbered events also simulcast on CBS. This deal, valued at an average of $1.1 billion per year, is a significant increase from the UFC's previous 5-year, $500 million deal with ESPN+. TKO Group's president, Mark Shapiro, stated that the pay-per-view model is a thing of the past and that the new arrangement will make UFC more accessible to fans. The acquisition comes just days after Paramount completed its merger with Skydance Media. TKO Group had a busy week, also signing a separate $1.6 billion deal with ESPN for the U.S. rights for WWE's premium live events. According to Paramount's new CEO, David Ellison, acquiring the entire UFC package was crucial due to the scarcity of top-tier sports rights in the coming years. Ellison, who is a UFC fan, described the organization as a unicorn asset. The deal is also beneficial for Paramount because UFC events run year-round, which helps retain monthly subscribers with less seasonal churn. The company also intends to explore acquiring international UFC rights as they become available. Do you like this, and will this make you get Paramount Plus? Let me know down in the comment section. Saudi Arabia could get its own WrestleMania in 2027. Sports Illustrated reports Saudi Arabia may host a Super WrestleMania event in 2027 as part of its ongoing push to bring a major wrestling show to the country. Since signing a 10-year deal with WWE in 2018, Saudi Arabia has been actively pursuing a WrestleMania. The chairman of the Saudi General Entertainment Authority, Turki Al-Sheikh, hinted at a significant event in 2027, which is fueling speculation. While New Orleans and Indianapolis are potential hosts for the official WrestleMania 43, it's possible that Saudi Arabia could get a separate marquee event, which could be headlined by The Rock. The country is reportedly willing to pay a substantial sum for a WrestleMania-branded show. WWE has used the WrestleMania brand for other events in the past and would likely do so again for a large monetary fee. This is pure insanity, right? First they get the greatest Royal Rumble, then they're going to host the real Royal Rumble, and now this? When will the pandering for money end? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Karrion Kross and Scarlett appear to be out of WWE. The Wrestling Observer reports Karrion Kross and Scarlett have officially moved to WWE's alumni section as their contracts expired on August 10th. In a recent documentary, Kross expressed his disappointment with the contract negotiations, stating that despite his interest in staying, he felt the company was not having a real conversation about his future until recently. He also mentioned that the contract offer he did receive was not substantial. Kross also claimed that WWE was telling him to ignore the crowd's positive reception of him, which he felt was a mistake. He criticized the company for not listening to its audience, citing the audio clip where Triple H appeared to mistake chants for him for those of Brock Lesnar. Both Kross and Scarlett have since released statements on social media thanking the fans and confirming that they are now accepting bookings. Despite their departure, speculations about their potential return continue to circulate. Do you think this is real or a work? Are you a Karrion Kross fan, and are you upset that this is happening? Let me know down in the comment section. This is the main event Mark's dark side of wrestling history. Vince McMahon's name is synonymous with professional wrestling. He is the undisputed architect of its modern era, transforming the regional World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, into a global entertainment powerhouse. After acquiring the company from his father in 1982, McMahon defied established norms, aggressively expanding the WWF nationally and internationally. He shrewdly signed top talent like Hulk Hogan, leveraged pop culture partnerships with MTV, and created the spectacle of WrestleMania in 1985, which ignited ignited a wrestling boom. Under his vision, the WWF became a family-friendly, pay-per-view driven brand, captivating massive audiences worldwide. Yet, beneath the veneer of unparalleled success, McMahon's career has been perpetually shadowed by a pervasive dark side marked by controversies spanning decades, from accusations of monopolistic practices to grave allegations of misconduct and abuse. The 1980s laid the groundwork for both Vince McMahon's ascent and controversies that would follow. His aggressive expansion strategy, breaking from the long-standing territorial system of professional wrestling, led to accusations of monopolization. By signing key talent and broadcasting shows across the country, McMahon effectively crippled numerous smaller regional promotions, reshaping the industry in his own image. This decade also saw the nascent stages of what would become a far more explosive issue: the alleged distribution of anabolic steroids. While the full legal ramifications would manifest later, the larger-than-life physiques of WWF wrestlers during this era were increasingly scrutinized. Dr. George Zahorian III, a WWF ringside doctor, was later convicted of illegally supplying steroids, and his testimony implicated McMahon in their distribution, despite McMahon's eventual acquittal. Furthermore, while it only came to public light in the 1990s, former WWF referee Rita Marie Chatterton alleged in 1992 that McMahon physically forced himself on her in 1986, an incident that, if true, marks an early instance of the persistent sexual misconduct allegations. The 1990s proved to be a particularly turbulent period for Vince McMahon and the WWF, with significant legal and public relations battles. The most prominent was the steroid trial in 1994, where McMahon was indicted on charges of conspiracy to distribute anabolic steroids to his wrestlers. Though he was ultimately acquitted after a highly publicized trial, the proceedings exposed widespread steroid use within the company, severely damaging the WWF's public image and intensifying scrutiny on the wrestling industry. Simultaneously, the early 1990s saw more misconduct allegations surface, including Rita Marie Chatterton's public accusations of rape from 1986, which, although unproven in court due to statute of limitations, cast a long shadow. Broader allegations of sexual harassment by other WWF employees also contributed to the negative press. Beyond legal woes, the infamous Montreal Screwjob in 1997 profoundly impacted McMahon's public persona. In this shocking real-life event, McMahon orchestrated Bret Hart's unexpected title loss at Survivor Series 1997 to prevent Hart from leaving for rival WCW with the championship. This double cross blurred the lines between wrestling's kayfabe and reality, cementing McMahon's on-screen Mr. McMahon villain character and becoming a foundational moment in wrestling lore. The decade closed with another legal challenge, the Sable lawsuit in 1999, where popular female wrestler Sable, real name Rena Mero, sued the WWF for $110 million, citing harassment and unsafe working conditions, further highlighting concerns about the company's treatment of its female talent. As the WWF, eventually WWE, entered into the 2000s, a period of unprecedented growth and global dominance, controversies continued to dog Vince McMahon. His ambitious, though ill-fated venture into professional football with the XFL in 2001 proved to be a spectacular and costly failure. The league's rapid demise, marked by low ratings and a perception of being more theatrical than athletic, resulted in significant financial losses and widespread public mockery of McMahon. However, arguably the most tragic and impactful controversy of the decade was the Chris Benoit tragedy of 2007. When Benoit murdered his wife and son before committing suicide, it sent shockwaves globally. WWE's initial on-air tribute to Benoit was swiftly retracted as the horrific details emerged, triggering intense public and congressional scrutiny of WWE's drug testing policies, wrestler health, and the potential link between concussions, later understood as CTE, and violent behavior. McMahon and WWE faced immense pressure, leading to the implementation and stricter enforcement of the WWE wellness policy. Despite the heightened attention on wrestler welfare, allegations of sexual misconduct against McMahon persisted, albeit less widely publicized at the time. A 2006 accusation by a tanning salon employee in Florida, for instance, underscored a recurring pattern of alleged personal impropriety. This era also saw a strategic shift to a PG rating and McMahon's tight creative control, a business decision that alienated some longtime fans who missed the edgier Attitude Era and criticized the perceived stifling of creative freedom for talent. Vince McMahon's active tenure in WWE and later in its parent company, TKO Group Holdings, reached a definitive and highly controversial conclusion driven by a cascade of more misconduct allegations and hush money payments. In June 2022, the Wall Street Journal revealed an investigation into a $3 million payment McMahon made to a former paralegal, which quickly expanded to over $12 million in payments to 4 women over 16 years, all to secure non-disclosure agreements regarding alleged sexual misconduct. This escalating scandal forced McMahon's retirement as chairman and CEO of WWE in July 2022. However, his retirement proved temporary. In January 2023, as the majority shareholder, McMahon controversially returned to the WWE board of directors, ostensibly to facilitate a company sale. This move prompted board resignations and raised questions about his true intentions preceding the formation of TKO Group Holdings through the merger of WWE and UFC in September 2023, where McMahon became executive chairman. The final blow came in January 2024 when former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a federal lawsuit against McMahon, TKO, and John Laurinaitis. The lawsuit contained chilling allegations of sexual assault, sexual trafficking, and emotional abuse, asserting that McMahon made her employment conditional of a sexual relationship and access by others. This explosive lawsuit, combined with an ongoing Department of Justice, McMahon has continued to divest significant portions of his TKO shares, further severing his direct ties to the company he so profoundly shaped. Vince McMahon's legacy is undeniably one of revolutionary success in professional wrestling, marked by visionary leadership and unparalleled commercial achievement. However, it is inextricably intertwined with a dark underbelly of persistent controversy. McMahon's career has been a testament to both extraordinary ambition and profound ethical failings. The story of Vince McMahon is not merely one of wrestling's rise, but also a stark reminder of the hidden costs of moral compromises that sometimes accompany immense power and ambition. Vince McMahon stands as an undeniable titan in the world of professional wrestling, whose audacious acquisition of the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE, from his father marked the beginning of a revolution. He shattered the traditional territory system, aggressively signed top talent like Hulk Hogan, and seemingly integrated wrestling with mainstream pop culture through partnerships with MTV. The creation of WrestleMania in 1985 ignited a wrestling boom, establishing the WWF as a brand that captivated audiences worldwide. Yet beneath the outward success wrestling fans saw for decades, McMahon has been plagued by a deep, complicated dark side that has consistently challenged his public image and ethical standing. McMahon's entrepreneurial ambitions, while leading to unprecedented success in wrestling, also manifested in failed business ventures that revealed a propensity for overexertion and misjudgment. The most notable of these was the XFL, launched in 2001 as a joint venture with NBC. Designed to be a more extreme and raw alternative to the NFL, the league was plagued by low ratings, questionable production quality, and a perception that it prioritized entertainment over legitimate sport. They even sink so low as to have a cheerleader dressing room camera. The XFL's rapid demise after just one season resulted in significant financial losses for McMahon and his company, drawing widespread media mockery. And even though the WWF was making money hand over fist, these losses cut into the pay of wrestlers, who were actually making the company a profit. Less remembered but equally indicative of his varied, sometimes unsuccessful pursuits were the World Bodybuilding Federation, WBF, launched in 1991, and its associated supplement line, IcoPro, integrated conditioning programs. The WBF aimed to revolutionize bodybuilding, but quickly faltered due to scandals and a lack of sustained interest, while IcoPro, despite heavy promotion within WWF programming, was quietly discontinued in 1995. These ventures demonstrated McMahon's willingness to take enormous risks, but also his capacity for costly ventures outside of his core wrestling business. Despite these outright failures, McMahon's business dealings have frequently drawn ethical condemnation. The questionable deal with Saudi Arabia, initiated in 2018, stands as a prominent example. WWE entered into a lucrative multi-year partnership with the Saudi General Sports Authority to host large-scale events in the kingdom. This alliance immediately drew severe criticism due to Saudi Arabia's abysmal human rights record, including its suppression of women's and LGBTQ+ rights and the brutal ending of the life of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Critics accuse WWE and McMahon of sports washing, using entertainment to distract from the kingdom's human rights abuses. Despite widespread calls to cancel events and concerns from politicians, McMahon pushed forward, prioritizing financial gain over ethical considerations, a move that alienated many fans and drew sustained negative press. Most recently, McMahon faced allegations of investor fraud in 2020. These claims stemmed from lawsuits alleging that WWE defrauded investors through its handling of the controversial Saudi Arabia deal, specifically concerning alleged missed payments from the Saudi government that were never fully disclosed. While these allegations were part of a broader shareholder lawsuit, they highlighted concerns about transparency and corporate governance under McMahon's leadership. Within his own company, Vince McMahon's treatment of his own talent has been a consistent source of controversy. His insistence on classifying wrestlers as independent contractors rather than employees has been a long-standing point of contention. The classification allows WWE to avoid providing its performers with crucial benefits such as health insurance, paid sick leave, retirement plans, and worker compensation, effectively shifting the financial burden of a physically demanding and injury-prone profession onto the wrestlers themselves. Critics argue that despite being labeled independent, wrestlers operate under strict company control regarding their schedules, travel, creative direction, and outside opportunities, effectively functioning as employees without the associated protections. This practice has led to numerous lawsuits and widespread criticism from labor advocates and former wrestlers. Complementing this, McMahon has been accused of union busting within WWE. Efforts by wrestlers to organize and collectively bargain for better conditions have historically been met with strong resistance, with allegations that McMahon used his power to thwart any attempt at unionization, further solidifying the independent contractor model. Vince McMahon's personal conduct and alleged involvement in tragic or insensitive incidents have also cast a dark shadow. The firing of prominent wrestler CM Punk on his wedding day in 2014, following Punk's walkout from the company due to creative differences and health concerns, was widely seen as a petty and vindictive act, despite McMahon later offering a public apology for the timing. Furthermore, allegations of repeatedly cheating on his wife Linda have surfaced over the years, culminating in the recent misconduct scandals that involved hush money payments to multiple women. These reports, some dating back decades, paint a picture of infidelity and alleged abuse of power that extended into his personal life. Ashley Mazzaro's 2016 lawsuit against WWE alleged that she was sexually assaulted during a tour in Kuwait, and that Vince McMahon and other company officials convinced her not to report the assault to protect WWE's image with the military. Her lawyers stated that the alleged cover-up and subsequent pressure contributed to her mental health issues. While the lawsuit was dismissed, an affidavit detailing her claims was released after she took her own life in 2019, bringing the allegations to public attention once more. Perhaps one of the most tragic incidents directly linked to Vince McMahon's tenure was the involvement in Owen Hart's death in 1999. During a live pay-per-view event, Owen Hart fell to his death from the arena rafters due to a faulty quick-release harness mechanism during an elaborate entrance stunt. McMahon and WWE faced immense criticism for designing and approving such a dangerous stunt, and, controversially, for continuing the show after Hart's fatal fall. His widow, Martha Hart, later sued the WWF, alleging gross negligence, and the case was settled out of court for $18 million, with the Hart family directly blaming McMahon for Owen Hart's death due to poor planning and an obsession with spectacle. Vince McMahon has faced accusations related to other wrestler deaths and controversial segments. There have been lingering suspicions that McMahon possibly helped to cover up Jimmy Snuka's murder of Nancy Argentino in 1983. While Snuka was eventually charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter in 2015, though deemed unfit to stand trial before his death, reports from Snuka's autobiography and other sources suggest McMahon's presence and influence during the initial investigation, leading to speculation of a cover-up to protect a top star. In another highly criticized moment, Vince McMahon had Brian Pillman's widow, Melanie Pillman, appear on Raw just days after his death in 1997. This live interview, conducted in extremely poor taste, saw McMahon question Melanie about the circumstances of Brian's death, including potential drug use, leading to accusations that WWE exploited a grieving widow for ratings and sought to absolve itself of any blame for Pillman's untimely passing. In essence, Vince McMahon's legacy is a complex tapestry woven with threads of unparalleled innovation and profound darkness. While he undeniably revolutionized professional wrestling, his career is equally defined by a pattern of questionable business ethics, a relentless pursuit of control at the expense of talent welfare, and a disturbing history of alleged personal misconduct. From the financial follies of the XFL and the moral compromises of the Saudi deal, to the systematic classification of wrestlers as independent contractors, the tragic shadow of Owen Hart's death, and the pervasive allegations of abuse, McMahon's dark side serves as a stark counter-narrative to his celebrated achievements, leaving an indelible stain on his otherwise transformative impact on sports entertainment. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below with your thoughts on all of this and suggestions for subjects for future episodes. This has been the Main Event Marks, Dark Side of Wrestling History.